The West Asia crisis is hurtling towards a dangerous new phase. Iran now has declared it is suspending all indirect message exchanges with the United States and is openly threatening to choke off some of the world's most critical maritime trade routes. Now, according to a hard-hitting statement carried by Iran's Tasnim news agency, Tehran says its negotiating team will halt all talks and exchanges of texts through intermediaries with Washington. The move comes in protest against what Iran describes as Israeli crimes in Lebanon and Gaza. Iran insists that a ceasefire in Lebanon remains a key condition for any broader agreement. Tehran argues that the ceasefire has now been violated on multiple fronts and says no dialogue will resume until their demands are met. The statement underscores what Iran calls the determination of its armed forces and the wider resistance front to respond to Israeli actions and open new fronts across the region. But the most explosive warning concerns global shipping lanes. Iran says it has resolved to completely block the Strait of Hormuz and activate other fronts, including the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, in what it describes as a move to punish Israel and their supporters. Such a step would send shockwaves through global energy markets. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the world's most vital oil transit routes, while the Bab el-Mandeb links the Red Sea to the Gulf of Aden and serves as a crucial artery for international trade. The threat arrives as Israel signals it could once again strike Beirut's southern suburbs, a Hezbollah stronghold that has largely avoided heavy bombardment since April. At the same time, Israeli forces are carrying out what is being described as the deepest incursion into Lebanon in 2 decades. The United Nations Security Council is expected to convene an emergency meeting later today to discuss Israel's expanding military operations in Lebanon. The European Union has also urged Israel to halt what it calls a military escalation. With the negotiations frozen, regional battle lines hardening, and threats emerging against 2 of the planet's most strategic waterways, fears are mounting that the conflict could rapidly expand beyond Gaza and Lebanon into a wider regional confrontation. Joining us live from New York is our correspondent, Susan Teherani. Hi, Susan. It's good to see you. What do we expect the United Nations Security Council to discuss? Because this is an emergency meeting that has been called by France and other countries.
Yeah, so they were very concerned that now everything is sort of in shambles because of the attacks that Israel is carrying out, notably on a famous castle in Lebanon and, places that are outside of the scope of usual military operations. They're concerned that this expansion not only is violating international law, the attacks by Israel, but also how it will affect that fragile ceasefire between Iran and the United States, because as we just heard, Iran is now threatening not only to close the Strait of Hormuz, but Bab el-Mandeb as well because of Israeli activities in Lebanon and those strikes. Just a few minutes ago, before I came on air, Israel has declared an evacuation order in Lebanon once again that strikes in earnest will happen. So the Security Council will possibly try to discuss whether or not they can come to put forth some kind of resolution when it comes to Hezbollah and Israel, and also discuss these latest developments that have been concerning. As I mentioned, it's not only regarding Lebanon and these sort of traditional and ancient sites that are being targeted, but also what happens to that vital shipping way, not only the Strait of Hormuz, but Bab el-Mandeb as well. So we'll bring you all the latest when that happens. It's expected to happen at 3 p.m. local time here in New York.
All right, so we are still waiting for this emergency meeting by the United Nations Security Council to be held. This emergency meeting was called after Iran threatened to close both straits, the Bab el-Mandeb and also the Strait of Hormuz, following Israel's continued attacks on Lebanon. Susan Teherani, it's good to see you. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you.